Hey guys, today I'm going to review with you for our PSE and colonization test. So I'm going to go ahead and review with you real quick about PSE. So there's a chance you're going to see some questions about political, social, or economic issues. Okay, they might give you an example and they'll ask you to identify if it's political, social, or economic. Now, if something is political, if a scenario or a situation is political, it's probably going to describe something about laws. It could be something about a government. It could be about a president or a government leader. It could be about the courts or a judge. If something is social, then it could include things like holidays. It could be about religion. It could be about groups, clothing, or I'm going to put communication, because you guys talked a lot about talking. Now, if something is economic in a society, it's probably related to money, jobs, imports, and exports. Now, I'm standing on the opposite side of my computer. I'm going to check to make sure if this is actually even showing up. Yes, we can see. All right, I'm going to move that over up to the top here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sketch out the east coast of the United States. I'm not going to do the whole thing. We talked about PGA, RA, Rocky Mountains, Atlantic, and the Mississippi River. But since we only studied settlement along the eastern coast of North America, then I'm just going to sketch out that part for now. Okay. And then across the Atlantic Ocean, because we do have the A from PGA, I'm going to go ahead and put Atlantic Ocean. Across the Atlantic Ocean, we have the continent of Europe. Let's just pretend that's what Europe looks like. And Europeans are going to want to colonize the New World because of the 3 G's. Okay? And so those 3 G's are going to be God. Maybe they want to spread their religion. Maybe they want to escape persecution and come for religious freedom. Gold. They're either going to hope to find some sort of resources that are going to make them rich, or maybe they're going to actually find real gold. And then the other one is glory. And then glory is basically saying, like, okay, I own all the land, so I am the most powerful person in the world, and I'm going to expand my empire. And there's the muscles. He's super strong. Okay? All right, so our first Europeans that come over are going to be the Spanish. And apparently, lots of my kids don't know the story. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Let me see if I can see that on the computer screen. Nope, got to move it up. Okay, so 1492, the Spanish come, and they're going to settle in present-day Florida, and along the Gulf Coast, and in Mexico, and the Caribbean islands, and in South America. So here's Spain. Okay, and Spain, yes, they come over for God, gold, and glory. They're wanting to expand Christianity. They're looking for gold and looking to expand their empire. But what we talked about mostly with Spain is the negative consequences of their colonization in the New World. So when Spain comes over, they create the encomienda system. And that was something that you guys struggled with a little bit the past 2 weeks. Encomienda system is really negative because the Spanish are going to enslave Native Americans, and they're going to make the Native Americans work to find gold and other resources. And then another sad effect of the encomienda system is that many natives die from catching diseases because they were not exposed to these diseases earlier. So natives die from diseases. All right, so Spain has come on over, and they have settled along the Gulf Coast, and they are setting up their empire. Well, that's going to make other countries jealous. So we now get the Netherlands, or the Dutch, and they are going to come over and they are going to settle in present-day New York. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move my camera up a little bit and see if that lets us see more of our paper at one time. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. The Dutch are going to settle up here closer to New York. And basically all we really need to know about them is that the Dutch are going to live in New York, and it's going to sometimes be referred to as New Amsterdam. One of the little stories that we talked about was that they bought the island of Manhattan from the Native Americans for just $24. So pretty good real estate deal going on there. All right, next up we've got the French. What color should we make the French? How about dark green? All right, so the French are going to be jealous too. They want to expand their empire and they want to get rich and they want to spread Christianity as well. However, they are going to have most of their settlements up in Canada, and then they're going to, when they come into modern day America, they're going to be in the Ohio River Valley. Okay, so Ohio River Valley, this is the French, and this is where we said we're going to write a whole bunch of F words on our paper. We have friendly, because they don't force their religion on the Native Americans. They're more like just trying to explain their religion and see if the natives want to be a part of it. And then they're French, obviously. But the way that the French make their money is by trading furs, trapping fur in the Ohio River Valley and then selling it. So that's how they're going to make their money. Friendly French furs in the Ohio River Valley. And not to be outdone, we have the British. And the British are going to arrive in the New World in 1607. And they are going to establish the colony of Jamestown, 1607. Jamestown is important because it is the first permanent successful British colony in the New World. Now, why in the world were the British coming over here? Well, the Virginia Company is a joint stock company, and so rich guys are going to invest money into this company, hoping that the colony is going to strike it rich and find lots of gold. Only problem is, there's no gold to be found in Jamestown. Eventually, Jamestown does become a success because of John Rolfe, and he introduces the tobacco plant to the colony, and this is going to become a major cash crop, and Jamestown becomes successful. Now, because so many people are striking it rich now with the tobacco cash crop, you're going to get thousands of people coming over from England moving into Jamestown. So they're 2 months away from the king. King's not really paying attention to them. Remember that fancy phrase was salutary neglect. He's not paying attention to them. So they're going to need a government of some sort. So in 1619, Jamestown, Virginia creates the HOB, the House of Burgesses. Okay? And the House of Burgesses is significant in our history because it is the first representative government in the New World. Okay, the people are going to be in charge, but because we have thousands of people living there, and we don't want to count thousands of hands when we take a vote on something, we're going to elect representatives to be our voice. So we're going to have the first representative government in the New World with the House of Burgesses. All right, meantime, back in Europe in the 1500s, we have the guy Martin Luther, okay? And Martin Luther is a German monk, and he works for the Catholic Church. But he hears about the things that are going on, and he's not so happy with the Catholic Church. And so he nails his grievances, his complaints onto the church door, and he basically is protesting against the Catholic Church. So he starts the Protestant Reformation. And in the Protestant Reformation, this is going to bring about new Christian faiths, like the Pilgrims, the Puritans, the Anglicans, the Lutherans, the Methodists, the Baptists. Well, the King of England decides that he wants all of England to be the same religion, and people like the Pilgrims and Puritans are not happy about this. So they are going to leave England because they're being persecuted for their faith. They're being treated badly because of their religion, and they are going to move over to the New World. They're supposed to end up in Jamestown, but their boat goes awry and they end up in Massachusetts. Okay? And the colony that they're going to establish in 1620 is the colony of Plymouth. So this is Pilgrims and Puritans. And the whole reason that they come again is for religious freedom. Okay, now similar to Jamestown, they are 2 months away from the king. So we got a problem because we need to have a government that takes care of our people. We need to make sure that everybody is following the laws, etc., etc. So while they're on their boat, the Mayflower, the Pilgrims decide that they are going to create a self-government. They create the Mayflower Compact. And remember, a compact, if you open up a makeup compact, you're going to see yourself. This is the first self-government in the New World. Now, self-government and representative government are basically the same thing because, again, the people are both in charge of these governments. However, we said with the Mayflower Compact, this community in Plymouth is much smaller than the community in Jamestown. Okay? All right, we're getting into our last two topics that we need to know for our test tomorrow, and that is mercantilism. And so I was saying today, mercantilism, I think of like M&Ms, okay? M&M, mercantilism, the mother country gets rich. Mercantilism, mother country gets rich. Now, the mother country in this case is going to be England. Okay? The mother country of England is going to get rich by basically taking advantage or scamming the colonies. Okay? So, England is going to force these colonies to sell all of their raw materials to England, but at a really, really low price. Let's see, I'm going to use this color. So mercantilism, the colonies are sending raw materials. And in return, England or Britain, they are forcing the colonists to purchase expensive manufactured goods. So let's say that you are cutting down trees and you are selling timber. England is only going to pay you $2 a log. Maybe France over here in Europe, maybe they offer you $5 a log. You want to be able to sell your logs over to France because you're going to get more money from them, but unfortunately, due to the system, England is forcing you to sell them your $2 logs. Okay? Same thing with what you import. Maybe you need to buy a new chair. Okay? England is going to sell you a chair for $10, and maybe Spain offers to sell you a chair for $5. You technically want to buy your chair from Spain because it's cheaper, but you can't in mercantilism. You are forced to purchase the expensive $10 chair from England. So at the end of the day, mercantilism really is only going to benefit one group, and that's England or the mother country. She gets rich. She doesn't care about her kids in the colonies. Okay? She only cares about getting rich. Our last topic that we're going to discuss is the slave trade, or the triangle trade, or the transatlantic slave trade. So I need to go ahead and add, we need the continent of Africa over here. And yes, I know my continents are not exactly where they're supposed to be. We'll live. Okay, so triangle trade, transatlantic slave trade. We've got a system going on where the Americas are going to send over things like rum, weapons, and other goods to Africa. Okay, Africa is going to send slaves, and they're going to be shipped over on boats, and the slaves are going to be treated so inhumanely that many slaves are going to die on what is known as this Middle Passage. Okay, the Middle Passage is going to be a very tough portion of these travels because the people are going to not have enough food to eat, maybe be killed by the ship owners, things like that. Maybe they die from exhaustion. Some of the people jumped off the boats, etc. Okay, Middle Passage is a very sad time for these slaves, besides the fact that they were already slaves. Okay, they're treated very badly here. Then, if they have lived across this Middle Passage, across the Atlantic Ocean, they're going to be working as slaves to harvest cash crops. Okay, so that could be working on a sugar plantation, it could be working on a tobacco plantation. Eventually, when we get to the 1800s, it'll involve cotton. We're not there just yet in the 1600s and 1700s. Now, if I'm going to ask you, what is the cause of the transatlantic slave trade or the triangle trade? So you can see here is my triangle again. Okay. The main cause is going to be cash crops. My colonists in the southern colonies who are able to grow things like tobacco, rice, and indigo, they are going to get rich with these crops. But they're going to be greedy and they want to get more money quicker. So if they have slave labor to help harvest these crops, they're going to be able to export these crops to other countries and make more money faster. Okay? All right, so tonight I want you to review your Quizlet. You can watch this video again. I want you to think about these things that are going to show up on your test tomorrow. And then I want you to also think about your CAP strategy. Okay, I'm going to actually put that over here on this left side. And I know some of you guys are like, oh, I don't need that, I don't need that. But you have to remember, we don't write these tests. These tests come from old questions on the STAR tests. And the state of Texas, they have created this. And we know there's lots of tricks out there. So remember, you're looking for keywords, people, places, dates. We're only going to circle 2 or 3 keywords or phrases, okay? We're not circling every single word in the question. We're going to eliminate 2 or more answer choices. We're going to eliminate anything that we know right away 100% cannot be correct. And then I'm not going to ask you to write out your proof, but I want you to be able to talk to me that if you and I sat down and looked at your test, could you justify, could you prove to me that the answer you chose was correct? All right, get a good night's sleep, study, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye-bye.